Hello everyone, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. This is the live tech show number 40. We are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So this is, of course, our live tech show. We are every Tuesdays. Now we were off for several weeks, about 7 weeks, something like that. And that was kind of a little vacation. You know, I work hard to do these shows and it's not always easy. So and taking a break did feel good, and I did get tons and tons of messages from people saying, "Hey, we miss you," and so hi everybody, welcome back. And of course, we have the same type of show for the beginning, but as we get into the fall, you'll see that there are going to be changes, transformations on how the show is going to be. So this is Live Tech Show number 40. We are Tuesday, August 16, 2016. It's a show we have at 3 p.m. Eastern Time every Tuesdays. That's 1900 hours UTC. And of course, hopefully you enjoy our show and we'll be happy to have us back for another season. At 6 p.m. today, we'll have also a Learn the Tech. Today is not going to be a subject in particular. Today I will need your feedback. We'll have a discussion on a new show that I'll be starting in September. So this means we're going to have 3 technology or computer related shows. I'll have 2 radio related shows, which brings the total to 5 shows a week. So that's starting to be pretty big, and it takes a lot of time. So of course, I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So learn the tech tonight, a little relaxed, learn the tech. Hope you enjoy. And I want to welcome everybody. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My job is a tech guy / YouTuber. And hey, trying to have fun with technology. We, of course, answer your questions in this 90-minute show. You can send your questions because I don't answer the questions that you post on the YouTube feed. You have to send it through email, helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com. That helps me manage more easily the questions and the people that are around. So welcome everyone as we are back. It's nice to have everybody on board. New way of monetization. We now have a Patreon monetization. What is Patreon? I want to kind of explain a little bit because people, when they go there, they don't understand very much. So if you go to patreon.com/radio and computers, this is the email here. What you'll have is a place where you can become a patron. And that means you pledge to me X amount for my live shows. So the way it works, you can pledge from 1 penny to whatever amount you want. And basically, when I do a live show like today, I click the charge button. That means if you've pledged to me $1 per live show, every time there's a live show, you have $1 that is taken out of your payment. Basically, what it happens, it is taken once a month at around the first of every month. And this is a way, well, Patreon has been invented by a bunch of YouTubers and musicians that just thought YouTube was kind of cheap in monetization, and they thought that maybe creators could have some other way of being paid. So I have now a Patreon. I'll be talking about it twice on every live show. I don't want to bother people and ask about money because I don't. It's the part I hate. You know what? I just don't like that. Thing is, if we want to have live shows and we continue with our live shows, I have no choice. If I don't have some form of monetization in another way than just YouTube, I won't be able to continue with the live show. So by having Patreon, you can support me. And basically, what's cool is, you can just pledge a very small amount. It's the number of people that will pledge that will help me. So we already have 7 patrons right now. Hopefully, more to come. And you can, of course, just, stop anytime you want. There's no catch. There's nothing. So when you go to patreon.com/radio and computers, just to show you what you have is a page that looks like this. So you have my introduction with my video here, and you have this page. You have the big Become a Patron on the right side. You just choose whatever you want. And it's, an easy way to help keep somebody like me on the air. If you enjoy what I do, if you like what I do, it's a great way to support me. And basically, it's cool because, gives me some kind of revenue that I can use, one, for equipment, but also keeps me on the air. So basically, the more this is successful, the more time I'll devote to videos, and the more time I'll devote to live shows. So if you enjoy what I do, please consider. And it can be a very small amount. And of course, if you can't, it's quite all right. I know that some people don't have necessarily the means to do so. So why radio and computers, by the way, because that's a question people are going to say. Why radio and computers? I've dabbled with the idea of having separate Patreons for my radio channel, which deals about amateur radio, shortwave radio, and stuff like that, and a Patreon for my Windows channel. But I thought it was kind of easier to just put everything in one Patreon. So that's why you'll be charged, of course, for radio videos, radio live shows. But that's why I decided to do so, because you can pledge a smaller amount if you don't want to, pledge too much. So you pledge whatever you want, and thank you. You can also, PayPal donations are accepted at the email address that's here. Sorry to bother you about money, but it's part of what I'll need. So if you want me to continue, no choice. We'll have no choice. Monetization on YouTube is really, really getting very bad, and I will not be able to continue without your help. So let's move on to the very important stuff. Questions from you, the people that are watching me and having a lot of... So here we have a cat. We're just gonna, here we go. Cat that is very affectionate, and that is Paul the cat, DX the cat for radio aficionados. So let's start with the questions that we have today. We have a nice bunch, by the way, watching the show. Hope you enjoy today's live feed. Here goes. Anniversary update questions. I have Mark that is saying that he doesn't have yet the anniversary update showing up on his PC. You know what? I have one French language computer here that has Windows 10, 15, 11, and I haven't seen the update on that one either. So last week I remember Donna Sarkar from the Insider team saying that for the rollout, it's still not done for everybody. But you know what? If you want to have it, you don't have to wait for that update to arrive through Windows Update. You can go into the Windows, website. And I'm going to show you what it looks like as well. I'll just go here and into Google, and basically, you will have the possibility here to check for Windows. You just type Windows 10 download. And what's going to happen is the Windows 10 download page, if you go down past the ads, you will have Windows 10 ISO Microsoft. You can click there and you have download Windows 10. So you can go to this page. It looks like this. Very important to have this page. And you can choose the Update Now button on the left side of your screen. But you can also click Download Tool Now, which is the media creation tool. Upgrade from there. And that's going to force the update, and it's going to work. So you don't have to necessarily go through the step and wait. You say that also that one of your computers, it's rolling back. It goes up to about 60%, rolls back. What is going on? Another thing about the update, when it's being done from within Windows, it has a problem. Sometimes, because of the software that's running inside Windows, some issues happen about the way that it wants to update. So once again, same thing. Go to that page, use the media creation tool. That's what I did. I actually, on the computer that's plugged here, I had an issue also with that update. What happened is I couldn't update my machine. And what happened is I just created the USB thumb drive using the media creation tool. By doing that, I was able to upgrade the machine. So it worked fine and it was okay. So that's another way that you can do it. Also, one issue that a lot of people have been telling me they've been having with the update, once again, is black screen, no boot up. When I posted a video of, anniversary update rollback for those that have freezes. Some of you said, well, what about if I just can't boot? It's a black screen. Well, the best thing that you can do from there is to use another computer. With the media creation tool, you'll be downloading and creating the USB thumb drive that you need to boot from. You might have to disable secure boot in BIOS on some machines, but create a USB thumb drive and boot from that, and you will be able to install it. Unfortunately, there are some people that have the problem, and there are some people that have had the issue with black screen going a little wrong. Other questions from anniversary update. This one is from Steve. Steve is located in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Says, hi, love your shows. Here are a few questions I got about my update to Windows anniversary update on 3 of my PCs. First, one of your PC, Cortana, is not working, but it's working on the 2 other computers. Look at my channel. There's a video that I've posted. In that video, what it has is the possibility to actually go in the registry. And it's going to show you where you have to change some registry keys. For a lot of people, I've noticed a lot of people that had Cortana not working, the registry fix that I posted seems to work for 90% of the people that don't have Cortana. It's just that for some reason, some of the Cortana settings in the registry were turned off. So Cortana doesn't work. So that's one thing. You say that you've got on one PC freeze after a few seconds, up to 1 minute sometimes. Yeah, that's an issue that Microsoft knows about. A small number of computers have freeze problems. What they are recommending, once again, I've got a video that I posted, I believe, yesterday, where you just roll back, and there's a few steps. So I've posted the video and the link, if you want to see the link, on rolling back to the previous version. And it has, the way that it's done is that you hold down the Shift key on your computer, and then you go into the power options, and you restart, holding the Shift key all the time. And you go into the advanced settings, and you go, of course, into the recovery, where you can roll back to the previous version. For now, Microsoft is actually working on a fix. They are really working hard for that. They say that, be patient. It's supposed to work. And finally, one question that I get so often: how big are the problems with the anniversary update? I get a lot of people saying, "Well, you're wrong. You're saying that there's not that many problems, and look, go see the websites." First of all, I even had one just a few minutes before I went on the air here, saying, hey, every website, ZDNet, Forbes, so on. You know what? First of all, there's in tech journalism, there's what I call the same type of sensational journalism that there's everywhere. And because there are posts of things going wrong, they jump on the bandwagon of starting to say that things are bad, and look at how crappy Windows update anniversary update is. It's not. And you know what? the way that I'm basing my observations, and I'm not alone. I've in last week's Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott, Mirjo Foley, and Leo Laporte, they were talking about that, and everybody agrees upon one thing: that the amount of people that have problems are very few compared to just last year when Windows 10 was available and it upgraded machines. There were a lot more issues and a lot more problems than the anniversary update is actually causing. The problem is, like I always say, people that have problems are the ones that complain. People that don't have problems rarely say, hey, I don't have any problems. If you look at my channel, because some people have been telling me that I've been removing, I'm surely removing comments from people that have problems. I don't. A lot of you that have told me they have problems, your comments are there. I have no problem with that. Microsoft is not my product, and Windows is something I like, but it's not mine. And if it really is bad or the anniversary update is crap, you know what? I would have posted a video on my channel saying, don't upgrade, wait. A big stop sign. That's because I care about you. If anniversary update was crap, I would not say to upgrade. Now, there are some issues. Problem is, it's very difficult to quantify, because if you've got 350 million Windows 10 computers all upgrading to the anniversary update, one of the things you got to know is even if 0.5% of these people are actually having problems, we're still in the millions of people that have problems. 0.5%, okay? 350 million, 1% is what? 3.5 million? 0.5% means it's 1.75 million. That's a hell of a lot of people having problems. And of course, it looks huge. It looks huge. There's a lot of people having problems. There are 1 million people having problems. Maybe 2 out of 350 million. That's the thing. There are little glitches here and there, though, that are a little more common. Cortana, stuff like that. There's something, something that you just have to understand. That there are a few little glitches here and there. In total, there are lots of little glitches that are mostly minor in nature. The real big problems of freezes and problems of upgrades and of unusable computers after the update are rather small. So at least that's the thing. And it ain't that bad of an update. So don't go crazy about that too much. There's Susan, that is a regular viewer of both my radio and my computer channel. Susan says, okay, my son's going back to school. It's high school, and the question that she has a few questions. She wants to buy a new PC for school, and he will need, apparently, his PC will need to bring this PC along somewhere. And the question that she has is, what should I buy? You know what? The first thing you should think about is lightweight. Probably the biggest issue with PC when you have a PC for school is how heavy it will be, because bringing a heavy laptop computer is kind of difficult, especially if you have to bring it home quite a lot, and if he has to walk to school, stuff like that. If he has to walk around with it a lot, a heavy laptop is not super cool. So something lightweight, check for really lightweight PCs. Anything special that to look for? Not really. There are some, go to a Best Buy store or something like that and check out what they have. If you buy online, maybe just check how thin and lightweight. Check how heavy it is. As for the rest, you know what? Even the laptop that is low-priced budget laptop is amazingly powerful today compared to, what we had before. So, but weight is the first thing. The first thing that you need to check for is weight. Then after that, you know what? You're thinking maybe an iPad should do the job or not. It all depends what your school, but you know what? I'm not very fond of iPads for school. I think that if it needs to, make documents, Word, Excel documents, stuff like that, I'm not sure it's proper. I think a laptop or a two-in-one. If your budget is not too bad, one of the very popular choices for school is the Microsoft Surface Pro tablets. If you don't have the money for a Surface Pro 4, they still sell the Surface Pro 3 at a lower price. These are great, great machines. And actually, Microsoft is surprised because it seems that the student market is a very, very good market right now for the Surface Pro tablets. So these are good devices for school. I think it's much better than an iPad for school. Not that the iPad is bad, but if he has to work, stuff like that. Also, the environment where he is. Here in Montreal, we have schools that actually have Mac computers. We have schools that have PCs. Check the environment, maybe. If he's going to high school and everything there is done in Macs, for example, because the school environment, often there are Macs in school environments. So if they're a Mac computer, maybe then take a look at, a MacBook Pro or a MacBook Air, because he will be in the same environment. And what will he be doing is also important. If he has to work documents, you got to think about, maybe a Microsoft Office or something like that. These are things you'll have to think about for sure. And you say that your son has also a older PC, and you're wondering if you should upgrade that PC to Windows 10. Well, first of all, it's a little late for have it for free. So I guess the best thing that you should do is keep it to the operating system you have now. I don't recommend that somebody that did not upgrade for free pay for Windows 10. That's not a recommendation that I would do. Stay put to the operating system you have now. And, whatever choice you'll have, just keep in mind, try to find what you'll do with it, and try to have something lightweight. Because if he has to, go around school with that heavy laptop, it's not super, super great. So, hope I answer your question for your PC for school. And thanks for being part of the program. What do we have here? Tim Pritchard asking me a question about Media Center, Windows Media Center. He says, I remember about 1 year ago when we first got Windows 10, you said there was a way to add Windows Media Center into it. I noticed in one of your videos, I seen the Media Center icon. I was wondering if you could make another video about it or mention on your Tuesday show how it is working on Windows 10. Thanks. Well, you know what? I didn't have the Media Center installed on this PC, so I did the little exercise of the Media Center. So if I type Media Center, here it goes. I've installed the Media Center on my desktop PC right here, and that's what you'll see show up. Here we go. This is the Windows Media Center, which is basically the it turns your TV into a multimedia machine. It's a little bit like Kodi. For those that know Kodi, it's a media center. You've been asking me, does it work well? Yes, it works quite well, honestly. I've been trying it out since yesterday. Works really, really well, and I've been enjoying it. Now, the thing is, what do you want to do with your computer? Because this is nice. The problem that you'll have with the media center is that it's just not going to be updated anymore. So it works fine, but I would probably suggest that you choose something that is more modern, like Kodi. Kodi is a good piece of software, and at least you'll have something that's very, very modern. I don't remember if I've installed Kodi on this machine, but here's Kodi. Yeah, Kodi is here, Kodi. Kodi is another type of media center, but it's much more modern because it's made to transform, and it's updated all the time. So it's made to transform all of your stuff. So here you've got Kodi. This is another interface. If you've got a PC on your TV, I strongly suggest you install one of those because it turns that PC into a multimedia hub. It's I think Kodi is much more adapted to today's way of doing things. Sharing through the network. You have a PC with some videos in another room on the same network, same Wi-Fi, same same home network. Well, you can share, so you can go into videos and say, well, I'm going to get the videos from my other computer as long as it's turned on. You can add stuff. There's a lot of add-ons for Kodi that are pretty cool. So I, we'll post a video because I think it's time to repost. There are some people that are very, very hardcore fans of the media center. And these people like to continue. And you know what? Media center is still working even with the anniversary update. I'll post a video of where to get it because I think the links changed with time. So you'll be able to get it again. And but you know what? Sorry, guys. Think about Kodi. I think this is a better alternative. This is updated regularly compared to the media center that is not. At least it's much. I think it's much better than installing an old media center. Even though it does, even though the media center does work well. Everything that I've done with it works well. And a question that I get asked all the time, will Microsoft ever update the Windows Media Center? No, it's over. Microsoft has said many times, look, the Windows Media Center is gone. We're not going to do anything about it. We're not going to upgrade it. Forget it. So hope it answers your question, Tim. And the only thing that I would say positive is if you used it in the past and you like the interface and you're used to it, then, well, maybe that could be an idea. Why not? So, Laura's life. Laura has a problem. She's been downloading her videos from her Kodak M530 camera to the computer. And she says that she can watch the video with VLC, and when she wants to upload a video to YouTube, it says they don't support the file type. Video is an MOV, which is Apple's proprietary format. I'm just going to check something here. YouTube refuses MOV files. I'm just going to check it out here. Yeah, that MOVs are apparently. This is interesting. I don't know. It's kind of difficult to. Let me just check it out here. Maybe they want you to. There's one because there's a problem with camera video, and I have it with I've had it for a while with my Sony camera that has MTS video files, and that's another question from a viewer. MTS video files are a type of high definition video files. And the thing is, they are very proprietary. What I think is happening is that the file you've downloaded from your Kodak camera is actually a modified MOV. It's a .mov, but with some little something added by Kodak in the codec for the video. So maybe that is what's happening with your files. I would suggest, just out of the blue, right-click the file. Right-click the file. Make a copy of it somewhere else on your hard drive. Right-click, choose copy. Go on your desktop. Right-click somewhere on your desktop and paste. So you'll have a double. And on that file on your desktop, right-click on it and rename it. Give it a name again. Say, I don't know, my vacation video. And before you actually change the name, end it with .mov and press enter. What's going to happen? It's going to say, "Oh, you sure you want to change the file type?" Say yeah. Try to upload it again from there. I really like to know what's happening, but that's one thing that I would try. How big are the files? And even that is not an issue because I upload gigabyte files sometimes. I've uploaded 2-3 gigabyte files to YouTube. It's just long, but it works. You see VLC's playing the file, so it's not a very weird format either. So try that. Make a copy of the file on your desktop. Rename it, but end the name with .mov and see if that works. Hopefully you can get your files. The only other thing that I would think about if it doesn't work and doesn't want to do anything is going to be to convert the file, the video file, into another format. By changing the format, maybe you'll be able to do something about it. And you know what? I'll be posting an issue with that. How to convert files. So that might help you. I'm taking a note here to post this. I'll be posting a video in the next few days converting files from one format to another, video files, audio files, and so on. So maybe that's going to help you in getting it uploaded to YouTube. There are glitches on YouTube sometimes from things like that, and I got to say it's not always easy. Also, in the same type of question, Frederick says that he's got MTS files from a camera and can't view the files. Actually, here's the audio, no video. Yeah, MTS files are a specialized HD type file for video. That's what my Sony camera does. Probably you have a Sony camera also. Install a player like VLC or Pod Player. I'm gonna go back here to the internet. There's a place called Videoland, videoland.org for VLC. This is a great player. The VLC player is the best player for, not the best player, a great player for multimedia files. And this will play your MTS files. My favorite is DOM Pod Player, available at, let's just check it out. DOM Pod Player, not this one at all. Don't click. You see, you have to be careful where you click on the internet. It's DOM Pod Player. Let me just check because this isn't the right page. Here, podplayer.dom.net. This is where it is. And this is the page you should see. You should see the page where there's these hot air balloons. Pod player. So it's podplayer.dom, D-A-U-M.net. And this is the page you should see. Download this player. This is my favorite multimedia player. That's what I have on Windows 10. It's great. Works fine. And that will play your NTS files if you have any issues also. So check it out. And I think that should be quite all right to play the video files that you want. Okay, we're going not too bad here. A question that I get often that I had it here is, why does Windows not play all types of audio and video files? And that simply comes from the fact that a lot of file formats have actually, you have to pay to be able to use the codecs, like MP3, for example. The MP3 codec, MPEG Layer 3, is a format that you have to pay to use. You need to pay royalties every time you want to play or have something play an MP3 file. So what Microsoft does, they pay the royalties for the very, very important files like MP3s, but they don't pay royalties for stuff that's a little more exotic. So a lot of people will say, well, okay, I can't play a specific video file. Yeah, that's why there's other third-party players. They have paid the fees in order for you to play that format. Unfortunately, there's a multitude of video and audio formats that have royalties that people have to pay in order to have those played on their computer. So it's just pretty incredible when you think about it. That that's the way it is, and it's kind of sad, because we do, especially for people that pay for Windows. It's just like, well, why don't you pay for a a license for some of the files? I always thought that one of the worst flaws of Windows Media Player, which for a long time was the multimedia player in Windows, was the lack of support for so many audio and video files compared to QuickTime, not QuickTime, iTunes. iTunes does play a lot more formats, but then again, through iTunes, you pay for music and for all sorts of things. So, they're making money through iTunes. They're not really making money through Media Player. Basically. What else do we have here? Okay, I want to answer a question from Alexander. Alexander Herrick. Alexander has a UPS that he wants to install. And it needs a special software. And the APC-back UPS ES700 device. He says that the PowerShoot NAS version on previous versions of Windows worked great, but it can't install it. It says you need .NET Framework 2 to install it, and redirects me to the Microsoft download page. It seems it is a very old piece of software. Yes, .NET Framework has been is a piece of software that's been there for a long time. One thing that you can do, .NET Frameworks, if you're on the Microsoft page, don't worry about it. You can download .NET, and if it's incompatible, at least what's cool in the Microsoft download page, if it's not compatible, it's just going to tell you right away, this ain't compatible with your computer. So try it out. I'm not sure. I can't remember if .NET 2.0 does install in Windows 10. Try it out. And a lot of software requires old .NET framework. And it's sad because very often the new .NET frameworks like 3.5, 4.6, and so on, they usually are backwards compatible. the thing is, the software is programmed in such a way that you don't see that it's kind of the same thing, and they just stubbornly want to have again the that old version of the .NET framework. So just go ahead and download it. Just make sure you're at the Microsoft website. That's the most important part. Don't download .NET from everywhere because you'll get viruses. Other questions about the anniversary update? So first of all, we'll go through a few questions I've got here. Okay, we have Stephen Mail that posted a comment, a email, talking about his old computer that had Vista with only 1 GB of RAM. So decided to try Lubuntu and a bootable USB. I even set the computer boot from USB. Computer reboots, nothing happens. Option 2 was to download virtual machine because a certain files would not download. And VirtualBox, which did install but would not run, kept getting a message that there was nothing bootable. Basically, I have an old computer that is almost useless until I discovered 2 new browsers, Pale and SeaMonkey, which have the same engines as Mozilla Firefox. Pale is 50 megabytes, SeaMonkey 75, compared to Firefox at 120. So you've got to work around and for your stuff. And he says that the Pale and SeaMonkey still have browsers, still have updates for XP and Vista. So while the others don't have anymore. You know what? There's a lot of that happening. I've noticed on Ubuntu, on many Linux distros, some machines that are not well supported, nothing happens, or when it boots all crooked, or it freezes, or it's just a dark screen. That is very common with Linux distros. That's why you have to try different Linux distros. For example, I've got an Acer computer here. I've tried maybe 20, 25 different Linux distros on it. I can tell you about 1 in 3 that I've tried just wouldn't boot. Even worse, it's not that old of a laptop, and yet the latest Ubuntu version, actually everything goes crooked and it just freezes up, nothing happens. It is a common issue with Linux distros. It has to do with how it recognizes the hardware of that machine. Even though the Linux distros are really good, more and more interesting on the boot up of machines, there's still some glitches, and you have to try sometimes different Linux distros. And for bootable USB drives, it's very important to use pen drive Linux to create the bootable versions. Sometimes, I gotta say also, pen drive Linux, which is a software that creates bootable USB thumb drives out of Linux distros, sometimes it doesn't work well. So the bootable version is not working right. So, so you're talking also about the gateway computer that used to crash every other day. Says, since I had upgraded to Windows 10, 10.586, 32-bit, was not crashed or blue screened at all. Only problem with the computer is when Windows 10 shuts down, monitor goes blank, but the computer will not shut off. I have to press the power button to shut off. Is there any way to fix this? You know what? That's something that prevents it from shutting down. The thing is to know what is actually preventing it. Is that a driver? Is there a software? Be careful about the pre-installed software that you might have installed on it or something. Go step by step also. We often have the problem when we install a version of Windows, for example. When you actually have installed the first version of Windows 10, or 8 or whatever version of Windows, don't right away start installing a million software. Do cycles of shutting down and starting up, and slowly upgrade with software. If you notice that at some point you've installed something and it doesn't shut down, you might suspect that one of the software that you just installed is the culprit. So maybe that could be the case. It could be a hardware issue. That computer seemed to be really, really weird and have a lot of problems. So I wouldn't be surprised. It could be some kind of hardware issue on that. That's very important. So it's very important to check that out. What else do we have? You say that I want to upgrade. We're just going to check it out, boot a couple of times. Okay, let me tell you what happened. The USB drive did not work with the update. The Microsoft website did not work. I tried to refresh for the original 10/240 disk. Did not work. I had to reinstall the original Windows 10 10/240. That worked, however, Windows 10 did not activate. Then you say that once Windows 10 is activated, it will auto-activate. Don't know what else to do. And it still won't turn off. Any ideas? Yeah, it's supposed to activate automatically. But that said, I have noticed that a small number of people been saying that they haven't been able to activate their Windows operating system. Make sure that you, once it's installed on that machine that was already pre-installed, that you log into your Microsoft account. It seems that Microsoft is kind of aware there's some kind of issue, and maybe it's something, I don't know, it's kind of a weird issue, I gotta say. It should activate, like I said. Make sure that you log into your Microsoft account, and but you do say it seems that you actually got it activated through phone, so that's okay. So you call the Microsoft tech support, and you know what? They've actually updated their computer, and if they're activated is Windows 10. So that shows that if you've got some problem with the activation of Windows 10, make sure that you can call Microsoft. Just tell them, it was activated before in the Windows on that machine, and they are kind of good with that. I can tell you that. Another message here, we have Sylvia that says that, first of all, Windows updates have problems. She says that Windows updates take time or don't work since the anniversary update. She says she sees the cumulative update show up, doesn't want to install, doesn't do anything. You know what? Wait because that cumulative update is going to be updated again. I have seen a few issues of updates with anniversary update. If you can't update the cumulative update, one of the things that might be happening, because I think Microsoft is doing this, on some specific machines, there are cumulative updates that don't install because they are kind of blocked. They show up, but they're not going to install, and it's a way to kind of not have your computer go into a blue screen or something. So wait for the next cumulative update. And that's something I'm actually working on videos also. I'm checking out, what I can post as videos to help everybody that would have Windows Update problems. Another thing that I have here from Fred. Fred says, hi, nice to have you back. Question. I've got a 1 gigabyte RAM tablet. It has 16 gigs of hard drive. Now, what he says is that he asked me if we can install the update on that tablet. And yes, we can. You know what? I have a little 8-inch tablet, pretty much same config, 16 gigabyte SSD, 1 gigabyte RAM. My Windows 10 32-bit version, they changed the minimum requirement to 2 gigabytes instead of 1. But you know what? I installed it on my tablet. It doesn't do anything. Even though my tablet has only 1 GB, works fine. It doesn't seem to check if you have got 1 or 2. So you can install it. The biggest problem you'll have is having enough space. I had that issue with my tablet, not having enough space. It was always telling me, hey, you got to have more space to install. So I finally opted to install from the USB thumb drive. And from there, I've installed and clean installed Windows 10 on my tablet. And it works great. Even though it's a cheap tablet, it works fantastic. So no problem there for sure. My friend. What else do we have? We have. That's a question. Yeah, that's a question from Eric. We have Eric that says, what is there to expect in the future for Windows 10? And second question, I've heard we would have a paid subscription. Is that true? Okay, what to expect? You know, we had the anniversary update. It added some new features, a new, start menu. If you want to take a look for people that wonder, the new start menu is here. It's pretty nice. It's laid out. It has all the different programs list. You also have the new settings menu, which is pretty good, with dark theme and everything, which is very, very nice, basically. Really like that. So, nice few new features in Windows 10 anniversary update. There are, Windows 10, I always say it, is a work in progress. That means that in the future, your Windows 10 install, for this year, we won't have any other upgrades. Okay, we'll have the cumulative updates, stuff like that. We will have little fixes here and there because it doesn't show it. Between 15.11 last November and 16.07 we just had, we had some tweaks. Some apps were updated. There were tweaks here and there to fix things in Windows 10. Then we had an anniversary update that really installed a lot of new features. Now we'll have a few tweaks once again. Some apps will be updated here and there. The next step is Redstone 2 update. That's apparently for April 2017 as of now. And starting next year, it's 2 updates a year. Microsoft did say it will always be 2 updates a year. As for being paid, no. The enterprise version has that, but the enterprise version is different. It's a volume licensing. It's not the same thing. It's meant for businesses. It's not meant for us. That side will have a subscription type pattern. But for Home Pro, we are not talking about subscriptions at all. It's not at all what's going to happen. And Microsoft did, again, I believe last week, say, no, we don't have plans for that in Windows 10 for now. So, well, someday, who knows? But, for now, it's not the case. So you're watching the Live Tech Show from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And you know what? You can help me continue making these live shows. We have new shows coming up. We have, of course, this live show every Tuesday. We have Learn the Tech every Tuesday also. We have radio shows on Fridays, Saturdays. So, we post videos to help you pretty much help you with your computers, help you get, out of trouble if something goes wrong. I'm trying my best to help everybody. You know what? The best thing that you could do is help me with Patreon. Patreon is a great way to actually give me your support. You can just check out anytime you want if you don't want to pay anymore, if you don't, the way it works, you go to the Patreon website. And of course, on the Patreon website, what you will see is my page, which is like this. And here you'll see the number of people on the left side, the pledges right now for every video. And when I have a live show, I click the pledge button. That means a live show like today, you are pledging to me. From 1 penny all the way to whatever you want. It helps me continue making the live shows, continue helping you. This is a big enterprise, and YouTube monetization is not enough for me to continue. So if you want to help, there's also a PayPal donation possible. if you ever want to help me. PayPal donations at this email address at the bottom. Sorry for bothering you about money, but unfortunately, you got to pay the bills. That's the way it is in life. And if you enjoy what I do, it's very helpful. Microsoft Edge extension stuff. So first of all, we have, what else do we have here? Just for a question. There's a question from, just check, I think it's Stephen Mail again. Yep, Stephen Mail. Stephen Mail is talking about extensions, and especially one extension that I did try, which is a OneNote web clipper. First of all, yeah, it's true. I did have problems. I installed the OneNote web clipper on this machine, tried to use it with a web page that I was on. Yeah, little circle turns all the way, all the time. Yeah, there is a issue with that app apparently. So, you know, they'll update the extensions. Eventually, it's probably going to work okay, but for now, that extension doesn't work. I've got a little. First of all, I want to answer. I've been receiving 3 or 4 emails concerning the feed that's kind of going through. So there's 2 or 3 people that have mentioned that the feed seems to be having cutoffs. That's probably due to the Hangouts. By the way, starting probably next show, it's going to be different. I will be using YouTube live video instead of Hangouts. And I expect the YouTube live video feed to be much more of high quality. So if you're having problems, bear with me. Hopefully, it's all going to be saved on the channel. There are some issues apparently on this live feed today. Sorry for that. Hangouts, you know, they're going to stop having live video feed from Hangouts. And I think part of the problem is Hangouts has always been kind of a little problematic. So hope hope it's going to be fixed next time. Stephen Mail also saying that losing the video feed but not the audio. So I think it has to do with how Hangouts are working. So basically, we're going to have starting next show, we're not going to be using Hangouts anymore. So we'll see how it goes with the quality. In case where quality would not be up to what I want, I've got a few backup solutions where I might be streaming from some other platform if really we need to do so, because I want to make sure that the feed goes well for everybody. So as we continue on, where to get extensions? If you are on Microsoft Edge, you go onto the upper right corner, the 3 little dots. You go into extensions at the bottom. Here you get extensions from the store. It opens the Microsoft Store and brings you extensions. So for most people, this works. It does for me, but it doesn't work for everybody, as there are a few issues with extensions apparently for some people. If you are having problems with extensions, I've posted a video on the channel. Just search for extensions. You'll see that there's a fix, temporary fix. You go to the website for the extensions from the developer website, and you have access there. You can also, if you know the extensions, search for them in the store directly. You go to the store and you search for the extension. That also works for some reason. But yes, there are a few people that have a blank page when they go to the extension page. So that's possible. So check it out. But usually that's where you go for the extensions in Windows, Microsoft Edge browser. And yep, blank page when asked for extensions. basically is a problem. Anniversary update should be fixed. And the extensions that don't work well, yeah, I was talking about the OneNote web clipper that doesn't work well. So, yeah, there could be some problems with some extensions. But I have used a few extensions other than that, like AdBlock, the translator app from Microsoft. These seem to work pretty well, though. So it's very important to think about that. Now, these are a few questions I already answered. Ubuntu not working on older PC or Vista PC. Like I said, there's a lot of issues with that. For a PC that won't shut down, it's very difficult because without having the PC in front of me, it's hard to know what happens, but it's usually a process. There's something in the Windows operating system that gets stuck while it's shutting down. So a little test that you can do, by the way, for that, turn on your computer, and once it's on, immediately click the shutdown button. Does it shut down when you do that without having worked on the PC at all? That could be an indication also of some software you're using that does something that can't shut down when the computer needs to shut down. But it does happen on some machines, unfortunately, that it does that. Does it also, one thing that I'd like to know is, does it, when you restart, because you forcefully shut it down, when it restarts, does it tell you that the computer didn't shut down correctly or not? That could be something I'd like to know. Is it, in the middle of Windows that it's happening, for example? That could be interesting to know. And basically, if it's not the case, it means it might be the PC itself. That computer, Steve, that you had has a lot of problems in the past, so could be some kind of hardware glitch, like I'm saying. And I've got Anna that says that she goes to her ISP's web page for email and has a problem since she has Windows 10 upgraded from Windows 8.1. When she goes with Internet Explorer 11, it doesn't work well. You know what, Anna? I've seen this many times on on computers from some of my clients. It seems to be something is changed in Internet Explorer 11 and Windows 10, because there are a few websites that don't respond the same. You know what? The response I got for that, because you do say that Microsoft Edge isn't supported by your ISP. Same here. We have ISP here called Videotron, and it does the same thing. On Explorer 11, doesn't show up right. Not compatible with Edge. You know what? That's bad ISP. I hate the internet service providers that do that. That means the internet service provider is not taking care correctly of everything. Change to Chrome. Google Chrome works fine with that. And all of my clients that have that problem, what I say is, like, go to Chrome and go to your ISP email with Chrome instead. Put it as a default. And stop using Internet Explorer 11. You know what? Internet Explorer 11 is not going to be updated anymore. They are putting, all the efforts in Microsoft Edge. So if you're not using Edge, use Google Chrome. I think that's a good browser. Probably works fine with Firefox if you want also. So no problem with that. Okay, what else do we have here? Ismael says, I do have a brother living out of state. By the way, his name is Wilfredo Fernandez. I have a brother, and by now, been helping him with his tech questions. I recommended Real Tech Expert. I even gave him a tablet, which I had upgraded from 8 to 8.1. I no longer have the computer with me. I said, I'd send it to him. Well, now I really would like to upgrade his computer to Windows 10, but it be possible for me to connect to his computer. Can you please show me where I would need to go? Remember, would it work from New York State to Lancaster, Pennsylvania? I'll be posting a few videos on different methods of having access to another computer at a distance. Now you're talking about upgrading to Windows 10. One of the things you got to know here is that when you start the upgrade, it's going to cut off the connection, and the upgrade, if there's ever questions or anything, you won't be able to see that upgrade process going through, because you're not going to be, that tablet isn't going to be able to run any software or anything that can show you what's happening on it. So it's not necessarily a super good idea to upgrade from that. And but still, look at my videos in the next week or two. I will be posting. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Videos on how to access other PCs at a distance. There are several ways to do this in Windows. And I'll be posting the different options available, especially one that I enjoy a lot also. So we'll check it out. We'll try to help you. We have, what do we have here? We have Peter that sent me an email saying, hey Joe, just my experience of the anniversary update. I have 4 computers, a Toshiba satellite laptop, a Packard Bell EasyNote, and Acer Revo. All installed the update with no problems, just varying installation times. However, the Patch Tuesday update wouldn't install on the Evernote and the Acer Revo. Screen said downloading updates, but 0% for now, about an hour. Went to the Microsoft catalog page and manually downloaded the installer. Got WinVer 14393.51. Thanks to your videos over the past year. So Acer tablet hasn't had the anniversary update yet. Came up with the message, not enough memory. I deleted the number of documents, photos, enough memory, but came up error message. I need a bit of time to try a few things, and we'll update you in due course. Hope you had a good summer. Yeah, you know, if it's a small tablet like my little tablet that has like a minimum of disk space and memory, you might have to upgrade via a USB thumb drive or something. That's going to be the case if you want it to work well. Another question here. I've got a question from Steve Martin talking to me about the documents. So Steve, I've been looking at document stuff, and basically I kind of misunderstood at first what happened. Now I understand that you've got the OneDrive folders and not the regular folders. I'm keeping your email. I'll be checking out how to tweak things and help you out, maybe through a video. Because it should not be like that. Here is very weird, because under this PC you even have the OneDrive folders, which is kind of very bizarre. So I'll check about it and try to see what I can do to help you with that. Change search provider in Microsoft Edge. So if just going to check out here, I'm trying to remember where to go. So I believe the search provider, yeah, change search engine. Yeah, here it is. When you go to Microsoft Edge, if you want to change the search provider, if you go into the little 3 dots, once again on the upper right corner of your screen, and go down into the settings, total bottom. Here, you'll go down again and go into advanced settings, view advanced settings. Here, you'll go down, and at some point, you'll have something called change search engine. If you click here, it's going to give you a list of search engines that you can use. And so, for example, I have Google search. So that's where it's going to click. You just click the one you want to have, this Google search. And basically, that's going to be set as default. and you'll be okay. Google will now be your search provider. One thing, you might need to be on the Google page for it to work. If you haven't, maybe it will not show up in the list, but it should work normally on like that. So we talked about .NET Framework for older software. Try it out. Redstone 2 will be released in April of 2017. That's the next big update for Windows 10. Might be different in the way that it actually is sent to our computers, though, because now we've had updates that were pretty much Windows installs. This Redstone 2 probably will come through a Windows update, more like a regular update thing. So it's going to be interesting to check it out. What else? We have, can we expect fast insider builds like before? This is a question from Ben. Ben says that he's an insider, loves being an insider. And what I think about this, I would expect, you know what? I would expect insider builds to be getting to our PCs quite fast. Since Donna Sarkar have been there, I mean, the PC build's been coming in so fast. I'm even surprised at how fast the insider, the first insider preview of Redstone 2 arrived on our machines right after the anniversary update. So I would expect it's going to continue as fast as that. I think they want to actually even go faster because they want to make sure to get that 2 updates a year. And, you know, it's a great way to test software and have great fun trying it out. You know, an insider is pretty cool being an insider. I like receiving all of these insider builds. So really, really nice to see that. Okay, we have Andrew Miller says, hello, basically all laptops, mainly Windows 7, Android devices, and printers are connected to my router, which is a Technicolor router, about 2G and 5G fiber. But my Samsung tablet refuses to connect to either 2G or 5G, just states limited, and after 3 minutes, just disconnects. I've restarted the router back to default, all PCs, the tablet itself. Okay, your Samsung tablet, does it run Android? If it does, I would make sure that you've upgraded your Wi-Fi correctly in the tablet. I hope it's not a issue with kind of firmware that don't like each other. That's something that happens sometimes. If it's an Android tablet, what I would do is make sure that you, you know, update it to its latest updates of everything. There could be some issue with the update itself, with the driver itself in Android. If it's a Samsung Windows 10 tablet, because I know there are some, what I would suggest is you right-click on the Start button, go into Device Manager. So in Device Manager, you will have in the Device Manager a part of the Device Manager where it says that you have something called, let me just find it here. It's, I always forget, okay, network adapters. Here you'll see something with wireless. Right-click on that wireless, click uninstall, and restart the tablet. It's going to force the tablet to reinstall it. And when you reinstall it, it might actually just work from there. It could be just a setting or a little something with the drivers that's wrong. And you can also, if you reinstall and still doesn't work, do the same thing, right-click and say Update Driver Software. And if it's an Android, make sure that you update the software to its latest version. It's very important for this to work. I have a user, Brianne Bravo at Gmail, which is, what do you think is the future Windows 10 and future version? Basically, we're going to have updates all the time. So basically, the future of Windows 10 looks like upgrades, new features. At some point, you know what? There was an interesting talk yesterday about the branding of Windows. You know, on the Mac side, Mac has been using 10.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, up to 10.12, and now it's changing that to Mac OS. It's removing the numbers. I thought it was an interesting idea. Paul Thurrott on the What the Tech show was mentioning on how he thinks eventually Windows will lose the 10 number, and one day we might actually have an upgrade and it's just going to be called Windows. No more numbers or anything. And it, I think, is the best way to think about it, because if Windows 10 is the last version of Windows and all we get are updates from time to time, it just isn't, it's a nonsense to give it a number. It's just Windows. It doesn't matter. The numbers don't matter anymore. And I think that could be something that's going to happen in a future update. As for the operating system, you know, the market is changing. There are going to be new features, new stuff happening because of technology, of new hardware. What will be the future of Windows? I think it will have a smaller future as time goes by. You know, PC market is shrinking. Less people are buying computers. Why? Because a lot of people have these, and they do everything with these. And it's not as relevant anymore to have a computer. So it's going to be interesting. I think we're going into an interesting future here. And time will tell what's going to happen, basically. Time will tell. So I have Gregor that says, hey, I have a problem with Xbox Live sign-in when I try to play Xbox Live games like Solitaire Collection. When it signed me in, I always get an error. And I tried to reset the Xbox Live app, but it still doesn't work. Okay, so you get an error everywhere. Have you tried any other games? You've reset the Xbox Live app, still doesn't work. And you do have a specific error message. I'm just going to check out quickly here that error message that you've got, if it rings any bell here in my own stuff. So Xbox Live error code. It's not an unknown issue. Here it goes. It's apparently an activation issue for Xbox. So there's a lot of people having this in the Microsoft community. Let me just check that out. Okay, there's a method to fix this. Okay, one of the things you need to check for, it seems that this error is created because of your date and time not being correct. Maybe your time zone. Go to your time and date on the bottom right. Right click here and go into adjust date time. Make sure that your time and date are correct. If it is not, make sure that your time zone is selected properly. That's a common problem in Windows. Make sure this is correct. Adjust everything. Make sure that it's okay. It seems to be a basically much of a problem due to date and time. So check that out. I wouldn't be surprised this is a problem. Your date and time settings aren't correct. And you know what? If it doesn't want to work still, why not change it to some kind of other time zone just to see if it works but it does seem to be related to the date and time from what I see here in a Microsoft support page. A lot of, by the way, store problems also. Does your store work? If the store also crashes, it could be a date and time issue also. There's a lot of that going around where the date and the time stamp are not correct. What else do we have here? Viper the Bookman saying hello, and he's happy. He says that, first of all, that he wants to share the fact that probably a lot of people missed my live shows. Yes, I did get a lot of emails and comments about people saying, oh man, I missed your shows. It's just incredible. Last time we talked, he was on Windows 8 and he upgraded his computer. So he says, first, the upgrade from Windows 8.1 to Windows 10 went flawlessly, no issues. Did take a little longer to download the Windows updates, but I didn't mind. I got patience. As for the feedback of Windows 10 Home now, I like it and such. Well, he says he loves Windows 10, and it's been over a month now. So since he got it July 11th, so far no issues. Just waiting patiently for the anniversary update to appear. So that's pretty cool. Nothing yet, just so you know, other than this. All is well, except for Windows Defender not scanning every day at 11 a.m. Central like I want it, and like I said it. So, well, maybe that is fixed with the anniversary update, by the way. And, you know, it's not that big of an issue, but maybe if you can tell me if the anniversary update worked with that. And so thank you for the nice comments. Question also that he has is he was watching my video on RAM, and mine says I've got 8 gigabytes of DDR3. He says mine has 8 gigabyte, but instead of saying DDR3, it shows other. So what does other mean in memory? Or the word other means, again, it says 8 gigabytes other. That's interesting that it says other. It's as if it cannot identify the type of RAM. I just want to check this out, but it's very weird. I don't know why it says other. I've never seen that. I've always seen the type. Probably some kind of memory issue, or maybe it just can't read it off the board, because usually it reads it on how it's configured. I don't know. This is weird. The important thing is that it works. That's mostly what I have to say here. As long as it works. And the other question you have is if you ever add to update, what brand should I get? Any recommendations? Yeah, if you've got 8 gigabytes, I don't think you'll have to update your RAM. 8 gigabytes for most people is more than enough. And I don't think in the near future, especially if you're not a hardcore gamer or anything, that you're necessarily going to need more RAM than that. But if you ever want to upgrade your computer with more RAM one day, one of the things that I would suggest is good brand memory. One of my favorite brands is Kingston. Kingston RAM is really good. It's a little more expensive, but it's a great memory. So, you know, but you know, I've dabbled with RAM of all sorts of brands like Hynix and even weird brands, and usually works well. But you know, I would a good brand RAM sometimes has a little more edge on the speed of your computer, the way that it's configured and the way that it works. Also, you know, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but a good name brand memory will probably maybe last longer. Avoid glitches. A lot of the good name brands also have the added bonus that often the RAM is as a warranty, lifetime warranty, because they just are so sure of their RAM. So these are the things that I would check for. But I think 8 GB is more than enough, and basically, I wouldn't, think about any other thing for that. As for your last question, you say that you've got DIMM and SODIMM, and that you're talking about DIMM memory. So DIMM is a dual inline memory module. SODIMM is a small outline memory module. The difference is simply the size of the RAM itself. Now, I didn't bring any because I could have shown you the difference, but technically, DIMM is for desktops. So desktop computers have DIMM, which are maybe about this length. And laptops will have SODIMM, which is a small outline, which is a smaller version, simply because there's less space in the laptop, so you use smaller parts. But DIMM is a standard. The important thing that you need to know is what type of RAM. The fact that it says other is kind of weird. So you need to know at least, do you have DDR2, DDR3? That is mostly what you'll need to know. If you ever upgrade and you're not sure, if you go somewhere, you can, just take out one RAM module and show a tech guy there, and or it even says on the sticker on the RAM module also. So it's just a technical term for the type of memory you have in your computer. So hey, 90 minutes already gone for our first show of the season. That's incredible how time flies. So you know what? 6 p.m. in about an hour and a half from now, there's going to be Learn the Tech show. I'll be tonight's going to be relaxed. I'll be talking about a project of a new show. I'd like to have your input on that tonight. Same email address for your input, helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com. And also talking about the future shows, I'm going to talk about in the Learn the Tech. And of course, anytime you want to have a question answered, any time of the week you want something, helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com. Send your question there, and I'll try to answer it next week. So if you have questions between here and there, just send your questions, and I'll be glad to answer. If I have too many questions, I will, of course, be pushing the questions over to next week. Today, we just got flush. All the questions are answered. Pretty cool. So not too bad. And hopefully you enjoy our shows. So we are here every Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 1900 hours UTC. Every Tuesday, I answer your question. So if you've got a question about not just Windows, Android, iOS, your iPhone, your iPad, an Android tablet, Linux, just your electronic toaster, your IoT, Internet of Things device, whatever, ask away, and we'll try to answer your questions if we can. And we've got a great gang that also helps a lot in answering questions when I can't. So we're giving some suggestions from time to time. So thanks, everybody. This was our first live show for the season. We're going to be here all winter, all fall, all winter, up to next year when I'm going to take the next break. And I know a lot of you don't want me to take the next break very soon. So thanks for being here. Thanks for your questions. See you next week, 3 p.m. Learn the Tech. This was live show number 40 for August 16th, 2016. Thanks, everyone. Take care. See you next week. And don't remember, at 6 p.m. today, Learn the Tech, 1 hour show. We're going to talk about light subject, a little bit of my future of videos and stuff like that. So thank you for watching, everybody. Bye bye.